You want to talk about insanity? At one point today, the Nasdaq was down 1,280 points, and then rallied 900 points. Actually, the print low on the Nasdaq 28,227. Then we pushed up to 29,000, roughly 197, something like that. I think that was the high, something of that nature. But complete insanity, a complete drop, a V. A lot had to do with Apple really getting cabooshed when the S&Ps were pushing up this morning, and the Nasdaq futures. We had big sell divergences off off the 15-minute time frames. Then we got the big sell reversals on the 60, on the 30-minute time frames. And then what happened? We got this monster 900 point over 900 point rally on the Nasdaq. S&P's 7247, traders high 7390. Okay, roughly rallied 100, almost 140 points there. And then all the 15, 30, and 60-minute time frames reversed to buy. So again, basically what happened here, I guess, then the lows, once the 15 reversed to buy, I knew that the lows were in for the day. When the 30s reversed to buy, I knew definitely the lows were in. And then when we got this big pullback around about 3:30 off the 15-minute time frame, well, combined with that and S&Ps were trading 73.51. And then with $5 billion to buy on the bell, they pushed them up and goosed them. We saw Micron trade from 907 to 735. SanDisk 1610 to 1650. AMD was trading 62, traded all the way high as 80. So a lot of volatility here today. Now, again, I don't think this is healthy. At one point, the markets wiped out $1.8 trillion, but recovered later on in the afternoon. Now, when we got that deep oversold condition on the 60 and the 30-minute time frames, I knew that the market was going to rally, but they've dropped another 200 points. The S&P's dropped about another 25 or 30, but I knew a bottom was coming in, because when you get a one oversold stochastic on my oscillator on the 60-minute time frame, I just knew that this market was going to rip. Now, in ripping, I thought they were going to rally between 250 and 350 points. No way did I think it was going to rally 900. But again, the action is not great. The president's thinking about reacting here to the helicopter was shot down. Thank God our pilots and our crew were safe. However, he's not going to tolerate much more of this, and we'll see what happens. The irony of the whole thing, oil really didn't do much during the whole ordeal. Oil was actually kind of flat. But again, a lot had to do with Apple, and I think that, again, like I said, we were deeply overbought. The Nasdaq is down from 31,800. S&P is almost near 7650, almost 7,700. We've dropped now. I like to see the market touch 7,000 or slightly below it to get those weeklies deeply oversold, and then I think it's up and away into the third and fourth quarter. I think the market has a lot of work to do. Again, SpaceX IPO is coming out this Friday, but tomorrow the big number is the CPI. So if that number comes in higher than expected, look out below. I'm telling you right now, because the interest rate environment is not looking like it's going to get cut anytime soon. All right, I want to just show you this to you today. This is the first pattern of the day. After the 30-minute time frame reversed to sell right here, you can see at 11 o'clock. Well, then the next thing you do is you look to at 11 o'clock, you can see here's 1020, here's 1050, here's 11. Then what you do is you short the first bounce on the 5-minute time frame into the negative MACD, rising ADX, big selling pressure. Guess what? I did not think this bear flag was going to drop 400 points on the Nasdaq. If you look here, the Q's 712 and change, and this is a pattern, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. The Q's dropped north of 12 points. That's, I think, probably about 500 points on the Nasdaq. So I've never seen, in all the years I'm doing this, a bear flag like that. Okay, drop 500 points. S&Ps, for that matter. Let me just, actually, let's just go to it. I want to just see for myself on the 11:10 pattern here. Nasdaq was trading 28,972. wow, over 500 points, okay? So the S&Ps had to drop north of 50 on that one as well. So everything lined up beautifully. Now, excuse me, at the end of the day, you saw that the 15-minute time frame reversed to buy. Right here, you can see the 15-minute reverse to buy at 1:30, and then at right here at 2:30, this the 30-minute reverse to buy. Now, I was calling shorts in here and here because the 60-minute time frame, you're getting overbought into this negative MACD here. And what happened? We got the high of 708, dropped down to 701 before we got the real big push up at the end of the day. And again, it was all predicated and based upon the fact that the markets really needed to get that drop off that 60-minute time frame. So we'll see what happens here. But once these 30s reverse to buy, the next thing you do, you look to buy the pullback on the 15. Look at it, 701, 701 and a half on the Qs, and they ripped. Now again, they wouldn't have ripped if it wasn't for $5 billion to buy on the bell between the Nasdaq and S&P futures. So wanted to show you that there. Okay, SanDisk, complete animalistic stock today. I want to show you this pattern on SanDisk. Now with SanDisk, okay, I want to show you when you made the new lows here on SanDisk right here on the 30s and the 60s. When SanDisk made the new low here, you can see 1573. It rallied. Then the new low here, 1536. You can see that SanDisk with the MACD on the 60-minute time frame did not, even the 30 did not confirm the lows. So this was a really good buy divergence off SanDisk, and I think the chips really, when they accelerated to the upside, SanDisk was one of them. You can see how SanDisk traded as high as 1803 today, and then it got down to 1536, ultimately rallying about 140 points off this buy divergence off the lows. So again, very important here. Again, the low on the day on the Nasdaq was 28,227. S&P 7247. So really, really great opportunity for the market to really ricochet up. If you look at NVIDIA, I'm going to show you NVIDIA reversing to buy on the 30-minute time frame, the 30-minute and the 15. So basically, when the 30-minute reversed to buy here on, so the same pattern applied. You had NVIDIA, you had AMD, you had Intel, you had Broadcom. All the stocks pretty much rallied here. Okay, once these 30-minute time frames reverse to buy, and what do you look to do when these 30-minute time frames reverse to buy right here? You can see it, 387. You can see what do you look to do? Well, once the 30 minutes all reverse to buy at 3 o'clock, the strategy is to buy the first pullback on the 5-minute time frame at 320. Broadcom 87, boom, 91. NVIDIA, same pattern, everything lined up at 320, boom. Look at this, 320, under 205. Look at it, unbelievable rally. AMD, absolute animal here. AMD, look at this, 462. Rallied right back up. Look at that, 7. Now today, look at AMD. Okay, look at this. I was trading AMD like an animal today. 437, and you can see the rally here all the way back up. So these are numbers to look out for in the next couple of days to see if these. I think basically, depending on the CPI number, which I'll explain during the next segment, I'll tell you what I expect for tomorrow. But again, once those 15-minute time frames reverse to buy and the 30, I knew that the lows were in for the day, and that was really very, very key to really notice. All right, when I get back, I'll tell you what I expect for tomorrow. So it doesn't make a difference what I expect for tomorrow, because the bottom line is it's all about the CPI number. I do believe that with these algorithms about to flip positive here on the Qs on the 60, the Russell on the 60, and we're going to be in a buy trend off the lows. I would say there's probably an 80% chance that today's lows are in for the week. Now, again, we do have SpaceX IPO come on Friday, and then we have the PPI number on Thursday. But again, gold is getting absolutely decimated. All right, gold, the wonder child, from 5,600 right here, making new lows here, 42.40. 42.44. I think gold breaks 4,000, could dip to 38.50. I don't see them cutting interest rates, and that's the only environment that really where gold could accelerate, and I don't think that's happening. Bitcoin did not break 60,000, even with this turmoil that happened today. But the rally, even with the 900-point rally on the Nasdaq, Bitcoin didn't even go far. So there was a really, really great pattern on Bitcoin off the 60-minute time frame towards the end of the day here. You can see it. Bitcoin on the 60, and I'll show it to you right here. Really great pattern here. Look at this, right into the 10 bar, 62,200, boom, down about 700 points. Very, very powerful. Again, for tomorrow, if we do get any type of push down, I think there's going to be a lot of support here based upon the fact that the algo reversed to buy, but we'll wait for oversold conditions for that to happen. You got to be patient, which is one of my 5 key words. If we trade up tomorrow, I think that the 60 and the 30-minute time frames are going to make the market run. Actually, mostly the 60-minute time frames will run into a brick wall. I think that's going to be a catalyst for the market, again, to see if the market, you're going to have sell divergences. If they push up to new highs, the 60-minute time frames are going to really halt the market. Today, really great pattern on the 15-minute time frame on the QQQs. When the market was making new highs here today, right here, you can see the market, that's the 60, where's the 15? Sorry, the 15. They go back here. You can see how the market was making new highs here, and the MACDs could not confirm the highs, especially on the spiders here. You can see the MACDs could not confirm the highs, and then we got absolutely cabooshed here. Look at that. Unbelievable day on the 50. Is that today? Where is it here? 11:30, 11 o'clock, 10:30, yep, right there, boom. So the MACDs could not confirm the highs, and then basically the sell-off. But again, never really, if you look at AMD, same type of pattern. AMD had that really great short pattern right here on the opening. I tried to short stock at 504.80. The high was 505. You blinked, it was down to 94. And by the time I put the order in, by the time it was market open, it opened and then dropped. So kind of a little bit on my fault on that one, but that was a great short pattern. All right. When I get back, I want to talk to you about the importance of learning how to trade volatile markets and what you need to learn. Not every trade is going to be a winner, but the most important thing is to preservation of capital. When you have high volatility, all right, go wide on your ranges. If you're trading the Nasdaq, go every 15 or 12 versus every 10. If you're trading the S&Ps and there's a range that I'm calling, maybe go every 2, maybe go every 2.5, and then cut down your size, especially when you have high volatility. Now, today was a complete aberration, down 1,250 points, up 900. It was an absolute casino. But when you identify these type of moves, try to go wide on your ranges. You don't have to be, so tight. And if you're going to do 2 or 3 entries and you're doing every 15 points on the Nasdaq, so if you sold, let's say you sold one at 20, the other one at 35, or 2 at 35, you sold one at 20, 2 at 35, and maybe 4 at 50. Okay, you're going wide. So now you bring your average price up. So it gives you more of a chance to, if the market drops, to be in the green on the trade. So I think what's important, identify the volatility and then go wide. There are some times, like in the summer months, where the S&Ps are trading within a 5-handle range for 4 hours. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you see volatility like this, or when you see a great pattern like the 11-10 pattern on the bear flag. Nowhere did I ever think that we're going to drop 500 points. It's got to be one of the biggest bear flags I've ever seen, where the Nasdaq dropped 500 in my career, to be bluntly honest with you. And I've been around for the crash of 87, long-term capital, 9/11, the 2008 housing, COVID, recessions, 44 years come this August 1st. I've never seen a bear flag drop 500 points like the 11-10 pattern. All right. Okay. Again, go wide on your ranges, especially in high volatile times. I think you'll do a lot better. Or basically just sit back, wait for the market to calm, and then go in. You don't have to take every trade, but just do the ones that make you consistent, that you have a high conviction, and that, remember, always use stops. Preservation of capital is the key. All right. And it's for trading prop accounts. You don't want to keep blowing them and buying new accounts. Okay. All right. With that being said, thank you for joining me today on The Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Please hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment. If you'd like to join my community of traders from all around the world, please go to my website, sktrading.live. If you like to watch me tonight during the Asia markets from 8 to 10, I will be on hosting My Funded Futures, where we cover the assets of S&P, NASDAQ, gold, oil, and silver. Well, not so much silver, but, the big ones, S&P, NASDAQ, gold, and NASDAQ, S&P, gold, and oil. But again, if you like to follow me on social media, please follow me at official Stephen Kalayjian on Instagram, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Just forewarn you, I do not DM and I do not try to contact you on Discord. I give out my cell phone number, which is 914-500-7484. So if you have any questions, you want to talk, you need something from me, I'm always happy to talk to you. And if you want a 5-day free trial, please text me your full name to that email, to that cell phone number. Okay. With that being said, have a great night, everybody. God bless you. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America. Be well.